playtime is over. Get your Prepared Mind merchandise at thepreparedmind.club. Help keep free speech free and spread the word about the need to prep.
Good morning, everyone. John here, your host on the Prepared Mind channel. Well, we've talked about the concept of shit hitting the fan being similar to the Titanic hitting the iceberg. Well, I think that just leaves too much in the air. I think we need a little clarification. Alright, so the Titanic hits the iceberg, rips a big hole in it. People don't think things are so bad. It ends up crashing and sinking in the ocean, breaking into pieces. Lots of people die. It really is a superb shit hits the fan analogy. So let's really kind of dissect what was happening, or what happened, and tie it together with what's happening today. You see, compared to today, I think the U.S. or SS or HMS Titanic, whoever's boat that was, I think that was relatively calm, relatively simple compared to the very complex Titanic that we're dealing with today. See, Titanic, right, it's unsinkable. Everyone thinks our civilization is unsinkable, that it can't come to an end, that it's too big to sink, too big to fail, right? It's just, the similarities are they're inspiring. But there's so much more going on in the United States, the U.S., or maybe the SHTF Titanic. There's so much more. Now, people think that the Titanic's tragedy started when they hit the iceberg. It did not. It started long before then. So let's take the SHTF Titanic, the boat we're in now. It just didn't happen, or it's not going to happen, the iceberg, in the future. We've already hit the iceberg. We have. We hit the iceberg bigger than shit. And in fact, we hit several icebergs along the way to hitting the big iceberg. What we're waiting for is the ship to sink, right? Now, we can even go back further and say, they probably knew we were going to be hitting icebergs, but they set course on this path anyways. So who are they? Who are they? Let's just say they is the powers that be. And they commanded that the SHTF Titanic leave port back in 1913 when they made the Federal Reserve. They knew there was going to be icebergs out there. But they said, get on that boat and go that way anyways. They did, and we hit icebergs along the way. Hit a pretty big one in 1929. Did they radio in and say, hey, we hit a big iceberg, let's turn around? They said, nah, you just left port. We'll figure this thing out. Keep sailing. Right? We hit other problems. 1971 came off the gold standard. 1987, the tech bubble of 2000. The big iceberg, though, the big one that tore everything open, that was the crash of '08. That just ripped a hole wide open in the SHTF Titanic. Now, who was at the helm? Who's there? Oh, Captain Hillary, Captain Bush, Captain Obama. We've had lots of captains along the way, right? And every couple of years, they just change out captains. Hey, you can't hold anyone responsible because everyone's had a turn, dodging icebergs. Now, who's on this ship? Well, me, you, our families, our nation, everything we have of value is on the SHTF Titanic. Now, as we're motoring along, going from where they started to where we want to go, which is freedom, prosperity. I think those are great things right there. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, all that shit. We're going from here to there. We just want to make it. We've got everything that we have that we've brought with us. Right? Everything of value. And what is happening to the SHTF Titanic as it's sailing along? Well, we're being attacked by pirates. It's not just icebergs out there. There's pirates trying to take us on. So our military fights back. Right? Then the military discovers that sometimes it's we're doing it to ourselves. What is going on? It's bizarre to me that this ship, this SHTF Titanic, we should know everything that's going on, yet everyone acts like they don't know anything. The politicians are at the helm, they're at the bridge, right? They're at the con, whatever you want to call it, making course corrections and course decisions, and they're on the radio talking to the Federal Reserve. Do we go right? Do we go left? Right? We got to avoid these financial icebergs out here. And they just kept sailing into thicker and thicker waters. They're doing the same thing again and again and again and again, hoping for a different result. And so they get done with the phone at the helm, and then they call on the radio down to the engine room. Right? More power, full speed ahead. What is the engine room? Analogous to the Titanic. That's our economy. That's our economy. Our economy takes raw materials, creates, changes them, transforms them into useful products. It puts value in them. Right? And that creates wealth and energy, and it drives the SHTF Titanic, keeps it going, right? Keeps the idea that we can make it, and it'll get us through this thing. Right? But as we're sailing along, the helm, right, the politicians up in the big booth up top, they're calling down to the engine room saying, hey, throw those pistons overboard. Hey, take that prop, just cut it loose. We don't need that thing. Hey, go ahead and put water in the fuel tank instead of diesel. Yeah, let's try that for a while. They're doing everything possible with NAFTA and the Trans-Pacific Partnership and all of these trade deals and free market, which isn't free, it's manipulated market, globalism, get rid of tariffs so that they can send businesses overseas and then make massive profits and sell things back to us. They're destroying the engine, in other words. So not only have we sailed into dangerous waters at the absolute, breakneck speed of stupid, they're saying, hey, why don't we just destroy our engine so we can't make it anywhere? We're not going to go anywhere. Meanwhile, we're being attacked by pirates. But really, who are these pirates? They're the same people who were back at the beginning, the Federal Reserve. They're stealing our wealth that we brought with us. Indeed, they are. Inflation. That is the devaluation of your wealth. It is gone. Taxes. They're like, well, another day on the SHTF Titanic, you need to pay your fee. It's like, dude, I paid for the ticket when I got on this boat. You're going to charge me the whole way? Yes, we are, Mr. John. We're going to charge you more. In fact, the further we get along in the trip, the more we're going to charge you. And you're thinking, what the hell? You have to pay, and you have to keep paying. It's incredible. Well, I'm hungry now. Well, you have to pay for that too. Well, I'm sleepy now. Well, you have to pay for a stateroom. Well, what do I get for the price of the ticket? You get to say you're on the SHTF Titanic. You get to say you're in the United States of America. Welcome to the U.S. Pay your taxes. They're robbing us every step of the way. And then they're telling us it's for our own benefit, that they're going to protect us. Right? That's how this works? You're going to protect me by taking everything from me? While you take the engine and throw it overboard. Right? So, the real Titanic, or the historic Titanic, hits this iceberg and gouges across the bottom, below the waterline. Rips open tons of different compartments which were supposed to be isolated from each other so it was unsinkable. What have the people in the helm, right? We call that room the DC room on the SHTF Titanic. What have they done? This last iceberg they hit was incredible. So the one they hit in 1929, that smashed into the stock market. Well, they kind of repaired that up, right? And then in 1971, when we went off the gold standard, and now it appears the U.S. doesn't have any gold, right? That was another compartment. They ripped it up. Oh, we lost the gold. Sorry about that. Let's just pretend that we are going to use paper gold instead. Yeah, we're going to base all of everyone's value on the ship, the SHTF Titanic, on the fuel in the tank, the oil. You get oil money now instead of gold. We're like, well, we're stuck on this boat. Where else are we going to go? What else can we do? Right, so we're going to play that game. 1987, well, they hit another iceberg and it broke the banking compartment. Ah, shit, right? And so we've had shipwrights down there beating that back together, trying to keep the SHTF Titanic from sinking and on its sails. And they said, you know what? We've got fuel in this ship to last 100 years. But because of all the damage that's done and because the engine is running so poorly, we can't run on today's fuel. We've got to go and get the fuel out of tomorrow's fuel tank and next year's fuel tank and the next 20 years of fuel tank. And we're going to jam all of that fuel into the engine that we have left and just ram it full steam ahead to try and keep the SHTF Titanic going. That's what they're doing now. By deficit spending, by borrowing from the future, right? They're going into debt. They're stealing all of the fuel from the future and putting it in what little engine that's left now to drive it forward. It's incredible. Well, I mean, it's incredible they can do that. They think they can get away with it. And so everyone on board is like, but what are we going to spend? What's our fuel going to be in 10 years? You just burned it. Oh, don't worry about that, you silly people. Hey, everyone on the deck, listen to the band, right? And then on the SHTF Titanic, the band is the media. It's the news media. It's the print media. It's the entertainment media. They want to entertain everybody and play this fucking game where everyone plays left versus right politics. And look over there, and isn't that a famous person? And by golly, we've got it so good. Why? Well, we're not dead yet. We're on the world's greatest ship, the SHTF Titanic. You've got it made. There is no one better off than you guys. And the people look around and go, yeah, they're right. We're not dead yet. This isn't so bad after all. Yeah, the band is still playing. And the band played on, just like in the historic Titanic. Right? Women and children first. So, we have hit, in 2008, the big iceberg. This one didn't hit one bulkhead or two. It didn't take out just the stock market. It didn't just take out the gold supply. It wasn't just a banking crisis. It was an everything crisis. Banks, insurance companies, national debt, real estate, stock market, automotive sector, the economy. Every single sector along the bulkhead was just sliced open in 2008. Massive, incredible damage. Right, so, trying to think of the guy's name. It doesn't matter what his name was. He's gone now. Hank Paulson. Second mate Hank Paulson runs up to the helm and addresses Congress and says, unless you give me all of your money, and we're going to use the money to stuff in the cracks to stop the water from coming in and sinking the ship. And so everyone said, give him the TARP money. And we gave him the TARP money. We don't know what he did with it. The ship is still going down. The ship started slowing down. It's dragging through the water. The economy, the engine is dying. Then Hank Paulson, right, he's gone. Some other clown stands up and goes, I know what'll stuff the hole better than that TARP money. Let's stuff it full of QE money. And everyone's like, QE, what's that? And he says, well, that means quantitative easing. And all the Americans on the SHTF Titanic go, quantitative easing, that sounds like a really important, powerful kind of stuff. They didn't know that quantitative easing was all of the excess from wealth and fuel and everything that had any value. And they took that and they've been stuffing trillions of dollars worth of QE in the holes. And, well, lo and behold, the ship kind of righted back up and started cruising along again. Everyone thought, woof, that's no problem, right? 2013, 14, 15. They didn't realize that now, the SHTF Titanic, it's just about out of fuel. The engine is just about broke. All of those gashes and tears along the side, in the banking system, the housing market, the stock market, heavy industry, light industry, real estate, personal debt. The whole system is broke. And all of those repairs were shoddy repairs. See, the damage was done back in 2008. You know, everything that's been done since then was temporary. The damage was also done all along the way, and the ship was guaranteed to sink when they set sail with it in 1913. The idea the whole way and along the way was for the banks to take control of the U.S. Titanic and rename it the SHTF Titanic. They put their puppets up in control of the ship and said, you're going to sail the direction we say to sail. And every few years we'll change from a Democrat captain to a Republican captain. But the purpose of this sail is to take you and me on a ride. Tell us what a good time we're having along the way. Entertain us. Feed us. Make us pay through the nose for it. But convince us we're on the best ride ever. But the pirates that I talked about, right, that the military is supposed to fight, they're busy shooting off of one side of the boat while they're unloading all of that gold, all of that money, all of the taxes, right, into their escape pods. The wealthy always avoid destruction in war, in collapse, because they're the ones that cause it. So they know what's happening. They know how to preserve themselves and take as much of everyone else's stuff with them. And then when a government is restarted, right, they come out and say, hey, we're the experts. Hey, we've got some money we would like to invest. We'll help you do it. And they do this again and again. This is what they do. We're on the Titanic right now. It has been terminally wounded. We, the people, on the SHTF Titanic, because now we know what's going on. We hit a massive iceberg. This baby is going down. Yes, the band is on the deck playing, and a good portion of everyone on board is listening to that shit. A bunch of us, prepper types, know times are tough. So what have we done? We've told everyone else, hey, everyone, get a life raft ready. They're like, nah, it's cool. I don't want to think about that shit. Everything's fine for today. So preppers are building life rafts. The wealthy, they're building life yachts. Right? They can't fit everything they've stolen in a raft. They need a yacht. This is all happening, and the ship is going to go down again. There are more icebergs out there. The waters we're in are deadly. Right? The money's been stolen. The ship has been looted. The engine is destroyed. Right? The entire vessel is crap. It's not going to take us, in other words, from where we started to where we want to go. I know this whole video has been one giant analogy, but I wanted to talk about it because we're not just having a small problem. It's not just some banking issues, and it's not just, well, some of our industry, and it's not that those darn Japanese, we're having to compete with them, and their cars are just so much better in value than ours. It's not that. It's not, gee whiz, we're good at this, but we're really not making food. Right? We need more food. You know, our country is going to hell in a handbasket. We're getting food from China. From China! Aren't they starving? Don't they have population control measures in because they don't have enough food? Yet somehow we're buying food from them? You know, there's just too many things that don't make any sense. Too many darn peculiarities. You know, it's not making a lot of sense. Even sitting in the seat and having the position I do, to look around and go, how is this happening? Right? How can it be happening and we don't, right? They can't fix it. Well, I know once they hit the icebergs, once the course was set, right? It was a matter of time and destiny before we hit that iceberg. And unfortunately, right in front of us, right now, is another one. And when we hit it, it's going to break this fucking ship in half. Right? Everyone thinks that everything's fine. But it's going to go down. You need to be ready. Right? It's the whole ship. Politics. It's ruined. Right? The financial system. The real estate. All sectors of our economy. The social side. We've got Democrats and Republicans. We've got communists and immigrants who don't even want to assimilate. They want to have their own rules and laws they brought here. They don't want to be Americans. This place is a zoo right now, the United States of America. And it's horrifying because I grew up just 30 years ago thinking America was great, it was strong, it couldn't be defeated. Right? That's back when Reagan was president, and it seemed like the problems could be fixed. So the people on board the SHTF Titanic, they said, we've had it with all these idiots at the helm. We're going to put this Trump guy in there. And so Trump is up there, and he's got the wheel, and he's steering the fucking SHTF Titanic, and he's like, hey, everything is fine, everybody. When people started listening, right, we're kind of believing him. We're hoping, we're wanting it to happen. He's saying, hey, get that fuel over there and shove that in the engine and get it going. You know, and so it's kind of picking up a little steam again, except we know that fuel that he's burning right now is just the remnants of what's left from future fuel tanks. There's not enough to keep it going and propel it. And I'm not a doomsday kind of guy in the way that, well, someone might think that. Well, John, all you do is talk about SHTF. Well, actually, I don't. Just on this channel. All day long, I go out and I try and fight back in a positive and meaningful way to do things right, to do my part, to help the Titanic, right, plug its holes. I'm just one guy. But if thousands of people did what I did, maybe things would be better. You know, so I try that. But I don't see any evidence that's going to stop because those holes, those gashes in the side are there. The financial system is crap. The economy is shot. Socially, we're wasted. We're not Americans. We're this color and that race and this gender and no gender at all. Right? We're Americans and these people aren't. These people want entitlements. Other people just want to be left the fuck alone. You know, that's what we've got on board. You know, everything is inflated. Value-wise. Oh, this house is worth $1 million. Well, really? Why? Well, because I say so. You know, it's fine. You say so. I'm not buying it. No one else is buying it. Well, guess what? No one's buying shit right now. Real estate is starting to take a shit. The banks are going, well, you know, everything's great. And then people want to borrow money. They say, well, it's going to cost you more now. We're going to have to charge you more interest. People can't afford these higher valued homes, so home values are going to go down. No one's going to be able to afford car loans for cars that are $30, $40, $60, $80,000 for an automobile. That's what a house should cost. You know, the net result is the SHTF Titanic is going to sink. We're going to get into our life rafts. And we're going to paddle for the nearest island. and we're going to start building another ship again. It's going to be a struggle to get there. Now, will the SHTF overboard in our little boats, is it going to be a major shit it's the fan, or is it going to be a minor one? Right? Is it going to kill 90% of America or only kill 10% of America? Well, in the historic Titanic, most people died. That was a bad accident. People weren't ready. People aren't ready now. But perhaps Captain Trump can steer the SHTF Titanic close enough to the island, that most people can swim there. That is, they're going to make it. They're going to get by. They're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be hard work. It's going to take a long time, but maybe they can get to the island. Shit, it's the fan light, in other words. But the Titanic, the thing, the vessel that used to be the United States of America, in my opinion, has really been damaged beyond repair. Maybe there's safe harbor there and it can be repaired. Maybe the engine can be repaired. Maybe the hull can be repaired, and all those sectors within it that make a nation or a ship great. Maybe they can be made whole again and repaired. Maybe the rules by which the captain sails will be reintroduced as something that isn't flexible. Right? Something that guarantees everyone's safety. And that's what the Constitution was supposed to be about. Guaranteed safety, accountability, responsibility, right? National pride, that is taking pride in what you are as Americans, removing selfish individualism from those in charge. All of those concepts that made America a great place once, maybe they can be reinvigorated while the ship is in harbor being repaired. And I think this really is a good analogy because it's going to take a long time to do. Other parts of the world are getting good at some things and other parts good at others. But the U.S. has been destroyed from the inside by covert agents. When the Constitution was taken down in 1871 and reintroduced as a corporate charter, it changed things. When they took sound money in 1913 and exchanged in its place paper. When they introduced income tax, that's right, we haven't had income tax the whole time as Americans, and we didn't have property tax, nor sales tax. You're going, but John, how did the government get by? Oh, there were types of taxes. There were. And they were understood, they were constitutional. Right? But now, they come directly to us, the people. Just like I described on the boat where they charge you to sleep, they charge you to wake, they charge you to stand, they charge you to eat. They charge you just for existing, for passage that day. Right? There's no way to get around taxation now. At every turn, we're taxed. Right? And they're not doing anything about the pirates right now, the people that are stealing from us. The people in charge of this ship should be repelling pirates, not giving the money to the pirates in exchange for a percentage for themselves. All of that can be fixed, but it's going to take a couple of things. It's going to take a leader who leads other leaders who are not selfish and greedy and corrupt and immoral. And they're going to have to reinstitute a system that guarantees and accepts that the people who are on the ship are the ones who actually own the ship. And we're not here to be bilked and thieved and robbed as we make passage through time. The people in charge, right, they need to be watched. By who? Well, they're supposed to be watched by the people, but the people got lazy. They liked their entertainment too much. They need to watch and go, you know what? You're not going to steer us back down that same course again. We're not going to go through an iceberg field. Stupid. Stupid. You're not going to squander our resources. Right? And we're going to design a ship that can't be brought down the way this one was. That's what I hope Captain Trump starts. Otherwise, you know, the SHTF Titanic may as well sink, right? And everyone just swim for it. And then you've got what? Mad Max, Captain Chaos, you know, Captain Caveman. It's going to be a nightmare. Nobody wants that. I don't want it. I don't care how prepared I am for it. I don't want it. For everyone's sake. For God's sake, I would rather have my scotch every night and die an old, happy grandfather. You know, the SHTF Titanic, which is what we're on now, really should be the U.S. Constitution. That should be the name of our ship. It should be solid. It should be well designed. It should be masterfully guided. And only the best among us should be its crew, not the sneakiest and the biggest mouths and liars. Politicians, lawyers, know-it-alls. If they're so smart, these politicians who are lawyers and know-it-alls, why have they wrecked everything? Why? How? How could they do it if they're so fucking smart? But they have. Every sector of our country is crippled. And everyone right now is listening to the band play. Right? So do your part. Get your lifeboat ready. Get prepared with food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Know where the island is, right? Your bunker or bug out location. Know where it's at, because when it comes to a crash, when it hits the reef, when it keels over, literally, right, and the ship starts heading for the bottom of the ocean, know what your plan is to get through it. And then understand, once everything gets stabilized, we're going to be in a strange place. Like I said, hopefully Captain Trump, right, can steer it closer to the island and everything can be repaired. And that's going to take some time. Hard work, sacrifice, effort, and long-term vision. Not long-term vision to screw everyone else out of their money, but long-term vision to create a nation that we all want to participate in. And unfortunately, and I'm going to say this flat out, Democrats do not want to participate in the United States of America. If they did, they would wrap the Constitution around themselves. Instead, they treat it like kindling to make their fire. And they burn it every chance they get. First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, 10th Amendment. Screw it. Burn it. Right? They just don't care. They are the most un-American people. The ones that are in charge. The people that are elected. These elected Democrats are the most un-American people I've ever met. They are social fascists. They are social communists. Either way you slice it, they're socialists. And socialists do not believe in freedom and rugged individualism. They believe in collectivism and statism. Both of those things are anathema to the Constitution, and they're abhorrent to anyone who loves freedom. So, understand where we're at on the great ship, right? The SHTF Titanic. Understand who's at the helm. Understand what he could be doing in our benefit, but understand that there's only so much he can do, and that the damage has been done. The course has been set, and there's an awful lot of work to make it through this shit. So there's going to be clowns running through the ship screaming and yelling, "It wasn't me," while Marines, right, that is the law enforcement of the sea, the Marines are going to be chasing those people and chasing them down and arresting them and prosecuting them. And those people, those clowns that are running through the ship screaming, "It wasn't me," are going to try and get other people to fight on their behalf. That's happening right now. Andrew McCabe was fired. Not because Trump said so, not because Sessions said so, but because an internal office said, get him out of here. And then Sessions said, okay, we'll get him out of there. And people, Americans, are doing GoFundMe accounts for a multi-millionaire criminal because they think he's being victimized. That's how partisan and stupid these people are. Understand that they're on the same ship with us. You're on the one side patching up holes. They're on the other side with the drill drilling new ones. They're trying to sink us because they think, right, they think utopia is at the bottom of the ocean. They really do. They think that a sunken ship is a successful ship. Well, look at the Soviet Union. That worked out really good. Yeah, great idea, clowns. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for supporting us at Patreon. Thank you for thinking, for being good Americans. Get prepared. Wow. The SHTF Titanic. All aboard. Woo! Right? Course is set. Get ready. Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. You guys be cool.